And I'm going to be drawing upon some of the knowledge from the chat to really understand the impact of a lot of the changes, because I don't necessarily play things like Sisters, so I don't fully get some of the changes. But and hopefully by the time we get to the end, between us having a look at it together, having a bit of a chat about it, hopefully by the time we get to the end of it, we'll have a bit of an idea of where we think each of the factions is feeling, how they're thinking, how they're feeling after this update. So we'll start off at the top with the Sister Battle. Sisters have had a couple of points decreases. Battle Sister squads have gone down to 105 points. And Zephyrim have gone down to 85 for 5 and 170 for 10. Now, I have to say, the Zephyrim still feel kind of expensive to me. I don't know much about them, but I think you're going to struggle to convince me to ever pay 170 points for like 10 one wound models, you know, even if they got power armor. I guess the big thing with Zephyrim is like being able to do secondaries, right? Yeah. Now, in contrast to this, the Sister Battle going down to 105, I feel like that makes them eminently spammable. I'm very, very there when it comes to paying 175 points for a unit of Sisters of Battle and a Rhino. Because the Rhino adds so much more. It adds durability. It adds mobility. It adds an extra unit into the extra unit your opponent's got to deal with. It can tank shock. Sisters can shoot out the top of it. Yeah, I'm kind of there. I quite like the cheaper Sister squads. I would definitely be up for seeing a few more of those driving around. Maybe you wouldn't go the full 6, but I think you could, two, three, maybe 4 Sister squads in Rhinos could be quite good. Yeah. The Castigator going up, I mean, it's only 160 points. I'm not sure how much it's gone up by, but I personally never really had an issue with the Castigator. I mean, it's a predator. I mean, that's it. It's a predator. I don't see why it's 160 points. It's got a 6 of Vinvun. Doesn't really matter. Miracle dice. Extra AP. I don't know. I guess it's a little cheaper than an Exterminator. It basically does Exterminator things, right? But it's a little cheaper against... It's a little cheaper. 160 points seems fine, but I didn't really have any complaints of them being at their previous points value, because whenever... But remember, this is from a guard perspective. Whenever I've encountered them as a guard player, they have lost the firefight against my Lehman Russes every single time. But they're fine, I guess. Dialogus going up to 40 points. I suspect that feels like it's a stop the cheap Dialogus for doing secondaries kind of thing. But I'm not sure what else it was doing. Dominion squad's going up. I get that. A lot of people were taking them. They are very cheap melter. They're not that much more expensive. You're basically paying 20 points more than a Battle Sister squad, but you're getting the ability to have 4 melter guns in there rather than like 1 melter, 1 multi-melter. But yeah, I'm fine with that. Immolator going up to 125 points. Kind of expensive. But if you take into account that if you split a Sister squad down, then it's like 175 points to put roughly 5 Sisters in an Immolator. 5 Sisters on the ground. Or 5 Sisters in an Immolator, and then you have... If you took 2 Immolators and split a squad across it, it's like the same as doing the Rhinos, except if you don't shoot out the top, you've got the twin multi-melter and the heavy bolter. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'd rather take Sisters in Rhinos now rather than Sisters in Immolators. That's gut instinct, but I don't play Sisters. Morven Val and the Palgon Warsuits going up is absolutely, utterly unsurprising. They were in every single Sisters army. GW is trying to stop people from using like auto-include units, so that's not surprising in any way, shape, or form. Normally GW, what's interesting is with some factions, GW just pulls the points lever. With other factions, GW is a bit clever about it. So, for example, with Guard, they wanted to stop the Lord Solar from being an auto-include, so they made other options more appealing, like the tank commanders. With Sisters, they just went jack the price up. Triumph of St. Catherine. I think the Triumph of St. Catherine has been utterly, utterly butchered. I think someone said it's gone up. Is it like, was it like 180 points? And it's gone up to like 250 now. It's like, it's something ridiculous. It's a very, very, very large points increase. I think the Triumph is probably DOA now. I don't think I'm gonna spend more on a Triumph of St. Catherine than I would do on a Rogel Dawn. Yeah, I think I'd probably... I mean, I'm not going to spend less on a tank commander than I am on a Triumph. And I know, again, you could say that's false equivalency because they're two different factions. But it gives you an idea of like what these things... You know, it's like comparing it to another faction's units. I wouldn't... It's like comparing like what you're getting in your different armies. Yeah. Yeah. So Triumph, I think, is dead. I think it's dead. Bringers of the Flame had all of their enhancements put up. That's very unsurprising. They're trying to make people try other things out other than Bringers of the Flame. So, you know, diddling all of the enhancements there is a good way. Overall, I feel like the standard Sisters... I feel like a lot of the stuff that Sisters have been relying upon, like a lot of the stuff they've just been putting in every list without thinking, the auto-includes. Like Immolators with little 5-man Dominion squads in. And Morven Val with Paragon Warsuits. And Castigators. I feel like a lot of that stuff is now not going to be seen as much. And I feel like... I'm not saying that stuff is unusable now. I still think that I still think people will. I think some people will completely jump off them. I think some people will realize that they're still good. They're just expensive. But I definitely could see Sister Battle players, even if temporarily, trying out Rhinos over Immolators, Battle Sisters over Dominions, Exorcists over Castigators. Cheap Zephyrim for doing objectives over Seraphim. And maybe, you know, maybe they'll, I think we'll still see Penitent Engines, but maybe we'll see some other detachments used as well. Yeah. So my take with Sisters is the common stuff has been nerfed. I still think they're absolutely viable. I don't think they're dead in the water in any way, shape, or form. And I think that we might just see a little bit of experimentation in the Sisters meta for a bit. But I'm not convinced that we'll see them completely pivot away to a new meta. But I think for a couple of weeks to a month, the Sisters meta is going to be in flux before they either go back and they go back to what they were taking and just absorb the points cost, as it were, or they settle on something new. But either way, Sisters are still good. Don't underestimate them. They have taken a hit. They're down, but they're not out. They could easily pick themselves back up. Custodes. I mean, I don't know much about Custodes. The main change is here is they've had a few points cuts. So Trajan's cheaper. Venomable Contemptor Dreadnought's cheaper. Virtus Praetors are cheaper. They're the bikers. The Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought is cheaper. And the Contemptor's Galatus Dreadnought is cheaper. All of those things I'm okay with. I think it's weird when we don't see Custodes armies supported by Dreadnoughts. I've always seen the faction as a shield wall, and a shield wall of Custodes, whilst Dreadnoughts tower over the top, firing over the heads of their brothers. That kind of thing. I've always, or a phalanx of Custodes, being led forward by one of their ancient Dreadnought brothers with like a big, Dreadnought with a big spear, or Dreadnought with a big sword and shield. So I feel like I'm okay with these point exchanges because it kind of makes me feel like Custodes are going back in the right direction. But I don't see anything here that's going to fundamentally make the faction more exciting. I'm definitely going off what our resident Custodes expert says. Al Coffin, who basically says these changes are fine, but they don't really matter, and they don't really fix the fundamental problems that the faction is suffering because of the codex. Yeah. Al Coffin, thank you for the 30 bits, man. Sisters have been brought down, but aren't going to suddenly stop winning reliably. Miracle dice are a hell of a drug, though with a triumph of 60 points, they will either lose some tanks or lose 6 miracle dice and all the buffs to shooting and movement. Yeah, I mean, Sisters, yeah, they're down, but they're not out. I agree. Miracle dice are still very, very good. Anything that lets you, basically, any dice mechanic like that is very good. The Triumph is still extremely good. It gives them +6 Miracle Dice, a bunch of aura buffs, and gave them the ability to re-roll Miracle Dice. Yeah, the Triumph is good, but it's now more than 10% of your army. And I think looking at those points changes, a lot of Sisters armies have probably gone up 100 to 150 points, and well, that's a more than 5% increase. That's 5% less points. That's a bit of a hit. Yeah. But yeah, and then our Coffin Custodies, the changes kind of matter. It's all stuff that Nemesis play because they are bad data sheets. Yeah, they're trying to make things a little bit cheaper. And Custodies, yeah, Custodies. I think the competitive play style isn't going to change. That means they're still boring, but at least if you want to bring your dreadnoughts now, you don't feel like you're being quite as punished. Yeah. Then we've got Adeptus Mechanicus. So AdMech, some up, some down. My main take on AdMech is that the things that went down, like the Electro Priests and the 2 types of Electro Priests, no one gives a shit about them. I may be, my judgment may be being clouded here by historical precedent, but there has never been a time that I can remember where Electro Priests were actually good. Not since the Great Reset of 8th edition. Yeah, if there's one model you do not invest stocks in, it's Electro Priests. That may be different now, but I'm gonna be real, I'm not feeling it. Unless someone can tell me otherwise. I'm not feeling it. The Iron Strider Ballistari, I believe they are the chicken walkers with guns. Those going up is understandable because one of the most powerful AdMech builds was just spamming those. Onaga Dreamcrawler going down is cool. It's the Onaga Dreamcrawler is my favorite Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle. I've always loved it. I think it perfectly encapsulates the AdMech in one model, like the vibe of them. So that going down is great, and it's a little bit more expensive than a Vanquisher. It has a bit less firepower than a Vanquisher, but it does hand out some buffs, so you've got to pay for that force multiplier essentially. The Taraxi Skystalkers and the Taraxi Sterilizers. Is it Taraxi or Taraxa? It's Taraxi, isn't it? Yeah. Taraxi Skystalkers and Sterilizers. Those going up in points. I don't know how powerful they are. But what I can tell you is that whenever I did see AdMech, and it was a very rare sight, I always saw multiple squads of the Taraxi. So if they were an auto include, them going up in points makes sense. I'm not sure if they went up in points if they were good because they did damage, or if they were good because they were good at secondaries. But either way, they've gone up in points. But 70 points for 5, what I presume is 1 wound models, does seem kind of expensive. Or 80 points, yeah. Sulfur Hounds going down, fine. Like, never saw anyone run them. Vanguard going up, makes sense. Skutari spam. Basically playing your Skutari light guard has been very effective, spamming Skutari and backing up with tanks and stuff. So them putting up the price of the Skutari makes sense there. To actually put people in bird jail, running a lot of them was very cheesy but fairly effective. Ah, okay. So yeah, it seems like GW has taken a bit of a hammer to any of these sort of jail type lists, like Taraxi jail or Kroot jail or Wolf jail. It seems like they've taken a bit of a hammer to those over the course of the last few updates, so that makes sense. And then they've basically put down all of the characters, which will, you know, I'm not sure how much they've gone down in points, but yeah. Basically, I don't. The thing is that I don't know much about AdMech, but the thing is, very few people know much about AdMech because no one's fucking playing them anymore because they're too expensive. So them fixing the bird gel thing is good. The rest of it. Is it earth shattering? Is it earth shaking? I don't fucking know. No one knows. I guess we'll have to wait and see. If a whole bunch of people start busting out the 3D printed AdMech armies, then maybe it turns out this is quite a good buff for them. But chat is telling me that it's not. Gukaf is saying it's not gonna reinvent the wheel. It's a bit of a down. It's a huge nerf. Or not huge. It's a nerf. So apparently AdMech have been nerfed overall. I guess with the Iron Striders. I guess the most common units were the Iron Striders and the Skitarii and the Taraxi. They've all gone up. So that's a big nerf. Yeah. And then the stuff that no one was taking. Like Electro Priests. I guess it's kind of like Custodes. The shit that no one was running has gone down. But that hasn't affected anything. With AdMech, it's like the shit that no one was running has gone down. The shit that people were running has gone up. So overall, that's a nerf. Yeah, fair enough. Nothing happened for the Titans. Eldar. Oh my god. Not like this. Not like this. Oh. Why? Why? Why, GW? Well, Eldar are probably back. That's not even an exaggeration. Falcon. So, some stuff went down that I don't really know if they were good or not. The Corsairs went down. I guess that's cheaper battle line. Cheap battle line. Okay, fine. Fair enough. But the big things here is like the Falcons, the Fire Prisms, and the Wave Serpents went down. Are we about to see Mekdar? I think we could see Mekdar. Falcons are great. They got Bright Lancers and shit. Fire Prisms are great. Wave Serpents are great. They all seem those all seem like pretty decent units. I guess the thing is that, you know, they are still kind of expensive. I mean, a Chimera is 70 points and a Falcon's 130 points. Or should we say a Wave Serpent's under 10, because the Wave Serpent's, I guess, more of the transport. And the Falcon's more of a tank that happens to be able to transport things. But still, that's all eminently spammable. I think you could see people turning up with... I think you could see people turning up with triple Falcon, triple Wave Serpent. And that's only 900 points. That's still 1,100 points to spend on everything else in your army. And you've got all of your anti-tank and probably all of your dedicated transports. Well, not dedicated transports, but transportation sorted there. Yeah. Wraith stuff going down is pretty significant as well. Because Wraith Guard and Wraith players in the past were a bit of a problem. I have to say, I was happy we didn't have to fucking deal with Wraith shit anymore. If Wraith start, anytime I ever come across Wraith stuff on tabletop, it always irrationally angers me because they're really tough, and I fundamentally believe that nothing in an Eldar army should be tough in any way, shape, or form. Like nothing. I know Wraiths have been around forever. I know that they're not a new thing. But I think nothing Eldar infantry should be better than T3. Nothing Eldar vehicle should be better than T9. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't like Wraith. I just don't like Wraith stuff. It feels very anti-Eldar, anti-Eldar vibe to me. But a lot of people will disagree with that sentiment, and that's okay. Like, I am wrong. I am a Guard player, not an Eldar player. But I tell you what, the things I am excited for is the Mekdar. Mekdar's cool. Anything mechanized is cool. I tell you what. I personally would have loved to have seen come down is the Wind Riders. Yeah, the Wind Riders would have been cool. I want to have an all bike Eldar army. So the more bikes I can cram into a list, the better. I guess I can still take like 27 bikes for like 720 points. I guess that's not too bad. I wonder what it would look like to run a pure bike army now. I've got the starts of it. I got 13 bikes. But yeah, I'd love to run an all bike army. What are Vipers like these days? I bet they're shit, aren't they? 75 points? It's probably not too bad. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, Eldar buffed and are looking very scary. Guard, we've already covered. Black Templars.
No, 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 no. Why?
Oh no. Oh no. Why? Look what they did to my boys! Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So, what has basically happened with Black Templars is the big squads have got more expensive. Significantly so. The reason for this is actually very simple. At WTC, I think someone went undefeated or like overall won the event by taking just like taking 120 like Crusaders. And it basically, but I think what people forgot about that is it was a team event, and so that guy had pairings that meant he went into things that couldn't really deal with it. It's like a stat check. But essentially what this change shows is instead of taking 6 blobs of Templars, you're going to take 5. And as frustrating as that might feel, traditionally the Black Templar Black Tide was always balanced when it was 5 squads. So that's over the course of 8th, over the course of 9th. Whenever they made Templars so cheap that you could get 6 squads, it started tearing up. Whenever it was only 5 squads, it was balanced. It won some games, it lost some games. So basically, I feel like GW is sort of correcting the course a little bit. I think GW is trying to return Black Templars to their sort of original state of you get 5 blobs with characters and a couple of cheap objective getters, and that's all you get. And you don't get your 6 blob. So you're still going to be able to stat check people with 100 Marines, but that 100 Marines is a lot more dealable than 120. Yeah. Do you know what this actually says to me? And I find this quite ironic, but also quite appropriate. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Firstborn. I'm thinking the way that you run Templars now, if you're not running Black Tide, is you take Firstborn Crusader squads and you stick them in fucking like rhinos, man. Dirt cheap. Absolutely dirt fucking cheap. And you or Razorbacks or whatever. Yeah. I think it's dirt cheap and has a lot of potential. Yeah. I actually want to check something about Black Templars here. We're skipping ahead a little bit, but that's fine. 1 second here, guys. Come on, you. That's where getting a little silly. They were knocking models off the table and stuff. I don't mind them being in the room, but when they start getting overexcited, you know. I was like, Mordian, don't be mean to the cats. I've not been mean to the cats. They've literally just run out of the room and I've just closed the door. That's all that's happened. So where are the Space Marines? So how much is a Rhino these days? Rhino's 75. How much is a Razorback these days? 95. Does the Razorback still have the thing where you can like split? Does the Razorback have the thing that you can split squads in it or not? Because if it does, you could take like a 10-man Sword Brother unit, 5 neophytes, then 5 10-man Crusader unit, take 5 neophytes, put them in the Razorback, take 5 of the good guys, put them in a Rhino, and have like a sort of double mechy kind of thing going on. You probably do it with combat squads, with what do you call it? With tactical squads if you wanted to. Maybe it doesn't have it. But yeah, I still think the idea of I still think Black Templars, you're still going to see Black Tide. I think what would be kind of funny now is I think a lot of Templar players might end up just dusting off the firstborn models, which would be hilarious. Which would be hilarious, man. Blood Angels. So Blood Angels is a bit of a weird one, right? So the Baal Predator has gone up. Why? It's an anti-infantry vehicle in a meta of tanks. Unless I missed something, I don't really get it. Blood Angels Captain's gone up. Okay. I can't remember what he does. All the Death Company shit's gone down. And Sanguinary Guard have gone down? Okay. Okay. GW. Are you alright, hon? Are you alright? Why the fuck are we putting... Al Coffin, thank you for 10 bits, man. Reminder, with Blood Angels, these are the first official Codex points. I mean, thank you for the 10 bits, thank you for the reminder. Why are we putting points decreases on the, like, best bits? Like, Death Company are really good. Even with the last, like, even their Codex versions are really good. Why are we putting Sanguinary Guard down when they're clearly, like, one of the best units that Blood Angels have? Because they've got an inbuilt, like, 4 Pinvun now, 2 up save, Lance and all their weapons. The Death Company Marines... Okay, to be fair... I stand corrected. Death Company Marines going up makes sense. Lamartis. Ah, okay. So what they've done... I guess the new Sanguinary Guard aren't selling too well. Yeah, because the models look like shit. So what they've done is... So the best bit in the Codex was Death Company Marines with jump packs and Lamartis. So that combo has been heavily nerfed. And then the Death Company Dreadnought was far too expensive at like 200 plus points. So they've taken that down. And the basic Death Company Marines weren't really anything to write home about. So the good Death Company have been nerfed. The bad Death Company have had some points decreases. And then the Sanguinary Guard have gone down. That's the only one I find a little troubling. Sanguinary Guard. Every model is equipped with an Encarmine Blade. All models in this unit that have an Encarmine Blade may be replaced with an Encarmine Spear. Yeah, so, and the Encarmine Blade is AP 3, damage 2, strength 6. The Encarmine Spear is strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage, but with Lance. So, Al Coffin. So, Sanguinary Guard get... Sanguinary Guard do all get power weapons. They all get power weapons. It's the Death Company you're thinking of, and it's the and ironically, it's the so the regular Death Company get what do you call it? The regular Death Company get like 1 Eviscerator. I think it's literally like 1 Eviscerator, like 1 Power Fist. And then I think it's the Death Company Marines with jump packs, which get a bit more. I think they get like 2 Eviscerators, 2 Thunderhammers, and a Power Fist, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, point is, I think this going up makes sense. I think this going down, no. Makes no sense. These were the best. People were already saying these were better than Death Company anyway. Yeah. So overall, I think Blood Angels is a bit of a weird one. Sure, 1 unit of... I think all this means is now, rather than taking like Asterath and Lamates in 2 units of Death Company with jump packs, you just take 1. You just take the Lamates with his Death Company bros, and then you basically take like 3 units of Sangad. You used to be full Power Fist on Death Company jump packs. That has absolutely changed. That's absolutely changed Code Snake hugely. Yeah, they can't take anywhere near as many power weapons as they used to be able to. Power Fists. Demons! Piece of Nurgle went down. Fine. Shalaxi Hellbane went down. That's bullshit. She was already one of the best big demons. As someone who recently faced Shalaxi, I can tell you right now, she did not need any points decrease whatsoever. No model that has 4 rolls to hit, 4 rolls to wound, and 4 rolls to damage needs any fucking points decreases. She did not need any points decreases. That's stupid change. Red Mass and Bloodthrone going up there, that makes sense. Yeah, she's a straight auto include, and they've just... She's a straight auto include, and they've just given her points decrease. Why? Who fucking knows? The main thing is, though, there's no real big changes here, though, with demons. Because, I mean, if you're going all Khorne, your list's gone up a little bit. If you're taking Shalaxi, your list's gone down a bit. I'm not sure how much she's gone down by, but yeah. No major changes for demons. Khorne is still good. Chaos Knights. Fuck. Oh. Many points decreases that make me very scared. I'm vexed. I'm terribly vexed. Chaos Knights basically had points decreases across the board. It is now entirely possible to take 5 big Chaos Knights and have enough points left over for a small baby knight to sit on your home objective. It is now possible to take even more baby knights because pretty much like, 3 of the baby knight variants went down in points. You can only get 12 baby knights. It's still 12 too many. Oh. I would not be surprised if we see a resurgence in knights because they're one of the armies that everyone has easy access to. Everyone somewhere either has a Chaos Knight army or knows someone with a Chaos Knight army so large that they can borrow enough knights and not impact their mate's collection. Yeah. I think we're going to see a big Chaos Knight resurgence, and I look forward to seeing lists that consist of 3 Rampagers and 2 Abominants and like the cheapest War Dog sat on a home objective, basically. Yeah. I think you're going to see the triple Abominant and double Rampager, or triple Rampager and double Abominant. Yeah. Captain Crackerdash, thank you for the 35 bits, mate. I put a hot take on voting and Necrons discussion. No need to rush to it. Just there when you get to them. Understood, man. Understood. Captain Crackerdash, Knights can now take 14 Wardens if you don't take Brigands. War Dogs if you don't take Brigands. Oh my god. 14 War Dogs if you go for the cheapest variant, I'm guessing. 12 War Dogs is 145... At 145 points, it's 1740. That leaves you 260 points left over. So you'd have to go for some that cost 140 instead of 145. Because you got the War Dog Carnival that's 140 and the War Dog Execution that's 140. So let's work it out. Chaos Knights like the War Dogs too much. Yeah, so if Chaos Knights do go for War Dogs, what are they looking at? So I'm guessing you can take you can take 6 of each War Dog, right? In squads of 2. Okay. So you can take 6 Carnivores and 6 Executioners, and then 2 Knights that cost 145 points. for 1,970 points. So that's 14 knights. That gives you 30 points left over. Now remember, each one of those that 30 points represents another 6 knights that could be upgraded from one of the 140 point variants to one of the 145 point variants. So if, I don't know, let's say executions are shit. I don't know if they are. But if executions are shit, and I don't want to take 6 executions, you're like, well, I'll take 6 huntsmen, or take 6 stalkers or whatever. It gives you 6. It gives you quite a surprising amount of leeway. I'm not seriously one of them's a character, but I think even so with that 30 point leeway, I think you're still good, right? Still good. If you go 145 times 8 and then plus 140 times 6, you bang on 2,000 points there. Stalker's the character. Okay, so you could take 3 stalkers and 3. So you could take. Let's work this out then. So Stalker's the character. So you would take 140 times 6 for the executioner. 145 times 6 for the huntsman. You need to take the character, so you take 145 for the stalker, and then you could take 140 for like the carnivore or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, however you slice it, if you want to take more carnivores than executioners, like fine. However you slice it, you can quite easily get 14 baby knights in the list now. I suppose that's quite spicy. Yeah, so I think I do think that a lot of people are saying that they think Chaos Knight players will stick with the War Dogs. I'm not denying that at all. I think there's a very strong chance that they would stick with the War Dog spam, but I think some will be tempted to take the big knights, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing like 4 or 5 big knights starting to hit the table. 4 or 5 big knights is their War Dog spam still very viable. Codex Chaos Space Marines. All right, so basically what's happened here is the cultist spam list has been nerfed. The Dark Commune's gone up in points, and the Accursed Cultists have gone up in points. So the whole destroying the fuck out of people with Accursed Cultists is basically, I don't know if it's ended, but it's taken a hit. It's taken a big hit. A lot of stuff's gone down though. Chaos Predator gone down. Chaos Predator Annihilator gone down to 130 points. I mean, that's the one with the lads cannons, right? Yeah, I mean, I get that. The twin lads cannon shot's not great. I think people still gonna take the Destructor. Or is the Annihilator the autocannon one? I feel like the Destructor is the autocannon one, but correct me if I'm wrong. Chaos Terminator's gone down. Maybe I think Abaddon at 280 and Chaos Terminator's at 360. What's that? 280 plus 360. Yeah, I think maybe the Abaddon brick is back on the menu, guys. It's only 640 points now. I swear at the beginning of 10th edition, this thing was like 800, 900 points. So, yeah, I think Abaddon brick back on the table. Accursed Cultist, a little bit of a wobble. We've had a few other things go down. So the Annihilator, I think, went down. Legionnaires in big squads have gone down. I really like that. It might not seem like much, but I really like that. And I think the reason that I like that is because of Alpha Legion. Because you can infiltrate like 3 Legionnaire squads in Alpha Legion. So yeah, I think I quite like that. I don't know why they didn't make the smaller squad cheaper, but fuck it, yeah, I'll take it. You had things like the Lord Discordant go down. I've not seen him in a while. Obliterators go down. They're quite good, so them going down is quite big. Possessed, I've not seen anyone run those in a little. Actually, that's not true. Possessed with the with the character used to be quite a big deal. Lord of Possession. I don't know if he's still a thing. No, Master of Possession. There he is. So yeah, Possessed were really good in the index, and Possessed just went down a little bit. So it's Master Possession. I was looking at Lord of Possession. Possessed and Master Possession isn't as good due to Death Runes being once per game, and the Master Possession no longer is feeling pain. Ah, okay, fair enough. So we're not. So Possessed Bomb isn't making a comeback then. Sorcerer and Terminator armor, that'll pair nicely with the cheaper Chaos Terminators. I mean, could we be seeing Chaos Terminator spam incoming? I don't know. I'm not saying yes. I'm saying I don't know. I think getting a couple of big bricks of Termies, combining that with some cheap Legionnaires and Rhinos, and maybe having a few Warp Talons, or Raptors, which seem to be a bit cheaper. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, maybe a slightly more traditional, straightforward, like fucking 4th edition style Chaos Space Marine list is now viable. You know, back in the day, a Chaos Lord leading a unit of Terminators, few Predators, few Raptors, few Legionnaires. That was all you needed to get the job done. Maybe GW's pushing that. Warp Talon's getting cheaper and Raptors getting cheaper. I think that's GW trying to use the defibrillator on the Dread Talons. I'm not sure it's going to be enough though. I think you need to make them a lot cheaper. The River Convex. I played against Terminator Spam pre-update. I don't know if it has the speed to be good. That's fair enough. Dark Angels. So overall take on Chaos Space Marines is, I'd say overall it's a buff, because only like the top build got diddled with the Chaos Cult, and then everything else is points decreases, and some of that stuff is quite good. Like, as someone who played, and Havocs deserve a shout out. Havocs 125 points. They ignore to hit modifiers. That's very spicy. And considering that I ran into Renegade Raiders, which were using Legionnaire squads with Chaos Lords leading them, and that hasn't been touched. Like, that 5 models plus a Chaos Lord, Inner Rhino, Renegade Raiders, that hasn't been touched. So I think Renegade Raiders is still as good as it was. I think Abaddon Bricks had a buff, and I think that the Terminator thing has gone down. And there are a few the Terminator, not so much. The Abaddon Bricks had a buff, and the Colts had a bit of a hit. I think everything else is a few nice point drops here and there that people who know more about Chaos than me will be able to squeeze a bit more juice out of them. Yeah. Right, we'll get Dark Age in a second. We've had a few super chats coming here. So let me take a moment here. I want to say a big thank you to Ed Bailey, my boy! Ed Bailey, thank you for the Giga Chat. Yes, it is the Giga Chat. By Sharp's command, you Tal scum. I love it. As for Cullens, what turret you recommend? I'm tempted by the Flamer. And what guy with a special gun or melter or plasma? So I tried the Aquilans with the grenade launchers yesterday, and it was fine. The Sentry grenade launcher turret, it was fine. I was playing against Grey Knights, and having the extra bit of punch meant that when I dropped down, I was able to kill an extra Marine here and there. That was fine. So I like the grenade launcher, but I also think that the Flamer could be surprisingly good, because chat pointed out to me that you drop within 3 inches of the enemy and they've put something shit on their home objective, and then you just like flame it off. Like something like 10 cultists or jackals or something. So I think grenade launcher, I'm feeling the grenade launcher for the punch, but I'm feeling the Flamer for the auto hits and the ability to clear off backfield objective scrubs. As for the melter gun, as for the special guy, I'd probably say plasma for the same vein, more shots and stuff. Yeah, I'd probably say plasma. I'd give the sergeant a rifle. Don't give him a power sword. No one gives a shit. And yeah, so I'm thinking, I think, you know, you could go plasma, flamer, rifle, sniper rifle, or you go grenade launcher, melter. It's only one shot on the melter, but that's a little bit more punchy. Yeah. Grenade launcher, melter, plus deep striking in next to a tank and throwing grenades at it might help you finish off an injured vehicle. Also, Ed Bailey, yes. Don't forget, guys, we do have a whole bunch of sponsors for the channel. Big thanks to Ed Bailey for reminding me to plug them. Don't forget, guys, check the affiliate links down in the description. We've got them for Bot Action, for Warhammer, for Sharp, and for a few other bits as well. So, Ed Bailey, thank you, man, for allowing me to rattle my tin cup on the side of the road. Also, big thank you to my Evan_Y. Thank you for the 8 months, man. Working towards X-Force, baby! Keep it up, mate. 07. Dude, just 4 more months. Not that long to go at all. Beginning of next year, you'll be an X-Force, man. Amazing. Thank you for your continued support, man. Thank you for doing your part. And 07 back at you. Amazing, man. And then we've got Average White Shark. Average White Shark, thank you for the super chat, man. General guidelines for beating Tau with Imperial Guard. 2k tomorrow. So, Tau generally hit hard really early on. So if they're running Mont Ka, then it means that they're going to hit you hard and yeet loads of Seeker missiles into you early on. And if they're playing Retaliation Cadre, they're going to drop in like turn 2, turn 3. I'm not sure if they can even drop in turn 1, but they're going to drop in early and hit you hard. The thing with Tau is that they're much more maneuverable than you expect. They can get angles that you don't expect, so hiding from the firepower can be really hard. With Tau, it's often so you need to be able to take the punch. They don't do great against blobs of infantry at all. Krieg blobs tend to be really annoying for them to deal with. Tau does generally do very well into mechanized guard, though. The other thing to mention is when facing Tau, they don't really have any good indirect fire. So being able to leverage indirect fire is very good. The thing about Tau as well is they're not all that durable. They're pretty durable, but they're not all that durable. So being able to counterpunch them is very important. So things like Basilisks are quite good into them, but especially like Scion Gigablobs could be very good into them. Because Scion Gigablobs can drop down and actually do a hell of a lot of damage. And if you are, and sometimes, I mean that's the big thing. That's the big thing. They don't do well into hordes. They don't have good indirect fire, and they don't like the counterpunch. That's my general guidelines, Average White Shark. All right. Good luck. And if you win, great. And if you lose, don't worry about it. Most people lose the first few games against Tau before they figure out how to beat them. Yeah, they're a bit of a funny one. All right, I want to say a big thank you to the Lower Decks. Lower Decks, man, thank you for the Giga Chat. Yes. Sir, I am coming to grips with Big Knob. The chief judge informs me that the capital has been overrun with psychers hidden from the black ships by the planetary governor. I hate this planet. I think it's time for you to use the forbidden law. What people don't realize is that codpieces are actually localized blank devices. Because if you have a magnificent codpiece, then the psychers will be so distracted by it, they won't be able to use their psychic mind powers. So Lower Decks, you might be the only one that can stop this psyker menace. Strap that codpiece on tight, grab a bandolier of shells, and hunt down those psychers, man. It's the only way. It's the only way you can save Big Knob. Good luck, mate. May the ever protect you and your codpiece. Okay, so let's go back to Dark Angels here for a minute. So, Dark Angels basically have received a nerf. Deathwing Knights are now 250 points a pop. I think that's more than fucking Custodes. Yeah, it basically, you know, the whole Dark Angels Gladius list? It's just taken quite a big hit. I don't think it's down at all. I think most Dark Angels players will just be like, I guess I'll take one of those shitty 5-man squads out. Because they had like 3 Deathwing Knight units and then like a few scouts and a few a whole bunch of 5-man shit. I think they'll literally just take one shitty 5-man squad out and the list will still run. Yeah. Yeah. So it's taken a bit of a hit, but it's still pretty good. Everything else that's gone down isn't really of consequence. You never see anyone take land speeders. You never see anyone take Raven Wing. I couldn't remember that. I forgot Samael existed. And by the end of 10th edition, Lionel Johnson will be about 30 points and still no one will take him. Yeah. Yeah. Counter Clarks, thank you for 10 bits, man. Lion and Gilliam both come down to 280 is kind of nice. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. But he's only got a 4 up. Isn't it like a 4 up invulnerable save, Lionel Johnson? So, you know, one good tank blast will fucking take him down. Unless I'm chatting bollocks. I haven't faced him in about a year. Everyone was taking him at the beginning of 10th, and then everyone stopped taking him for some reason. So, I don't know. Maybe it's my lack of experience that's showing here, but I think the big thing is Azrael and the Death of Ignite's going down sorts out the Gladius list a little bit. See, Zeus says he's got a 3+ invulnerable save. I don't think he does. Are you sure he's got a 3+? He used to have a 3+, right? He used to have a 3+. Does he still have a 3+? Or am I getting mixed up? Chat has to let me know. Chat has to confirm. Because I feel like GW is like morally against 3+ invulnerable saves. He's a 3+. It's ridiculous. Oh. Does he ever feel no pain? Captain Cracklash, thank you for the 10 bits, man. 4 up invulnerable, lone up. He murders in combat. He's in my list. I just need to build and paint the rest. Wait, so Captain Cracklash is saying a 4 up invulnerable. And now other people are saying it's a 3+. Which is it? He is. Oh, Captain Clark says it's a 3+. Oh my god. I hate 3+ invulnerable saves. But he has no feel, no pain. So basically, you just grenade and tank shock him. I know it sounds like, oh, just Mordian, just. I know. 3+ invulnerable saves are absolutely horrendous and should not exist, but he has no protection against mortal wounds. None whatsoever. Thank you for the 10 bits, Captain Crackerdash. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, he has no protection against mortal wounds whatsoever, right? So you just basically mortal wound him down, and that's not that hard to do these days. Well, one of the auras you can choose is a 4+ feel no pain against mortals. Ugh.
This is why people are getting sick of 10th edition. Because it's just full of bollocks.
I'm going to have to move on because if I don't, I'm just going to get really upset. This right here has gone for me. But if all it needed to be was a 4 up, 5 up GW. That's all it needs to be. 2 up armor save. How can they not get this through their fucking heads? Edition in, edition out. We go through the same fucking cycle of stupid bullshit. GW. Armor saves can be as high as you want because AP allows you to interact with them. You should never have an invulnerable save better than a 4+. You should never have feel no pain better than a 5+. It's just not hard, okay? It's just not hard. That is the limit of defensive profiles. All right? It's not hard. Anytime they go outside of that, the game breaks. I am vexed. It vexes me terribly. You have to have some way, like, you can have, because you cannot interact with Feel No Pains, because you cannot interact with invulnerable saves, it's like, you have to limit them. That's the big thing. If Feel No Pain could be countered, like in previous editions, by if the strength was double your toughness, you couldn't take a Feel No Pain, then you could have a 2+ Feel No Pain. Because if you hit a T4 model with strength 8, then it's fine. But the moment you can't interact with them, there has to be some very, very, very hard limits. Nothing in this game should have a 3-up invulnerable save. It's ridiculous. Nothing in this game should... Because you need to be able to, like, reward smart play. Okay. So it's like, okay, if someone's model has got a 2+ armor save, then the way you go... then the smart way is, I could yeet all these small arms into it, but the smart players, I'm going to... let's say combine, I'm going to use high AP weapons against this, or I'm going to combine my, this ability with this ability to get me additional AP, which, if I go through all the right steps, I will be rewarded with being able to do damage to this tough unit, okay? And it's like, if someone's got an invulnerable save, it's like, okay, it's a 4+ invulnerable save, it's 50-50, this is a situation where, if I yeet lots of these, like, high damage weapon, if it's a vulnerable save, if I try and grind him down, it's going to be tough. So what I do is I'll be smart about this, and I'll use mortal wounds. I'll use this other mechanic that Judo has given me to be able to counter it. All right? But what the fuck do you do? Like, seriously, guys, what the fuck does GW expect you to do when there's a model which has got a 2+, 3+, 4+. Okay? With lone operative, with fights first. Okay? There's no smart play there that is rewarded. The only what happens is you just have to basically bash yourself in the head with a rock, return yourself to Neanderthal, and then just start rolling as many dice as possible. Like, just got to grind him down. Just got to grind down. That's not smart play. That is frustrating play. Because now I'm not being rewarded for playing smart. Now I'm just being rewarded for just rolling a whole... Now it's just grind. It's why people fucking hate playing Custodes. I'm sorry to all the Custodes fans, but people hate playing into you. You might enjoy playing the army, but no one enjoys playing into Custodes. That's what I hate about this shit, man. It's like, okay, he's got lone op, like, and then this guy literally has every single defensive buff possible. He's got a 2+ armor save. He's got the best invulnerable save. He's got a Feel No Pain against mortal wounds, so none of that shit works. You can't shoot him from long distance because he has lone op. So it's not like you get many turns to deal with him. He also has deep strike, so you could keep him off the board, which protects him, and he has fights first. So even if you're like, okay, I can't shoot him to death, but if I can charge him first, I might be able to gank him. It's like, no, he fights first. It's literally, this guy has every single defensive buff. It's just like, what the fuck? This isn't fun. I hate this shit, man. This right here, just this motherfucker right here, is the perfect example. Okay, this right here is the perfect example of why Primarch shouldn't be in the game. Because either you buff them to the point where they are lore accurate, and then they're just a fucking chore and unfun to play against, or you have them toned down, at which point everyone's like, I don't like it. All the people that play him are like, all the people that play Lionel Johnson or Primarchs are like, oh, it doesn't feel right. In the lore, he should be able to solo fucking an entire planet on his own. This is the problem. Primarch should never have returned. It was a mistake. Soz. Soz, bro. Soz. So, if you're a Dark Angel player, right now, and you're not putting Lionel L. Johnson in your list, I'm going to presume that either you are a sadist who likes pain, or you were dropped on your head as a child. People are going to need to do some heavy fucking... People are going to need to do some heavy convincing to tell me to try. You're going to have to give me a very good argument to say why you wouldn't include this guy. Kind of Crackerdash, thank you for the 10 bits. I just spent 3 days stripping all the voter models I got off my buddy. But now that I've looked at the lion hard, I'm kind of feeling Dark Angels lols. That's it, right? That's it. I'd like it. It's okay, Mordian. Just play as Guvesa for the greater good. I mean, if I'm telling you right now, Vanquishers need to be able to ignore invulnerable saves again. Railguns need to ignore invulnerable saves. Sorry. And oh look, we're back in 9th edition again. Fucking hell. Captain Crackerdash, thank you for 10 bits. Yes, Tim, you can call me degenerate reprobate. You are! You know what you are, Captain Crackerdash? You're a cur, you're a cad, you're a horse and knave. Index Death Guard. So Death Guard have also received some buffs. Now, Death Guard are already a very, very strong army. I have been at tournaments where Death Guard have won them. Okay? But now Death Guard are doing even better because Mortarion is down to 300 points. I mean, I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride now. I was just starting to enjoy not having to see Mortarion in every single fucking Death Guard army. He's way spritzable. He's way overpriced in comparison to the Lion, but he's so cheap you're going to see him in every army still. Because it's 300 points. Mortarions are 300 point distraction card effects. You literally just go, you just 300 points and you just throw him down the board. Throw him down a flank. He's overpriced in the grand picture of things, but he's massively undercosted for what he brings to Death Guard. The time of the Primarchs. The time of the Wolf Jail is over. The time of the Primarchs is here. So I think this is the meta. I think the meta is going to be... I think we're entering Hero Hammer. Because isn't Mortarion a 2-up, 4-up, 4-up? Is he a 4-up feel no pain or a 5-up feel no pain? Code's sake, he was already, yeah, he was usable before, now he's an auto-include. He was already very, very good. Yeah, now he's very, 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 very good. Is he that's the question, chat. Does he have a 5-up or a 4-up feel no pain? If it was a 4-up feel no pain, I think I might jump out the fucking window. If it's a 5-up feel no pain, then it's actually fine. 4-up invulnerable is fine. 2-up, 4-up, 5-up is fine. 2-up, 4-up, 5-up should be the standard for every single Primarch. Like, that's just the profile they should have. 2-up, 4-up, 5-up. So Morty is a 5-up feel no pain. That's okay. Do you know what? I'm okay with that. That's alright. 2-up, 4-up, 5-up. If you... that is the... I actually... You know what? I'm not lambasting Mortarion. I'm lambasting the fact that he is an auto-include because I quite liked... You know when you play Necrons and it's just hyper-crypt again and again and again and again and you just can't... You just don't want to play Necrons at a tournament, not because... Play into them, not because you don't like Necrons, but because you're just sick of playing the same fucking list day in, every single time you face them, and it's the same units every time you face them, and then when you actually face someone with a bit of variety, it's like the biggest breath of fresh air. That's kind of what I feel like with like things like Mortarion and the Lion and stuff like that. It's just annoying when you go to a tournament and every single time you encounter a certain faction, they always have the same model in it. Always. It's that I guess that's what is pissing me off about this. So Mortarion's defensive profile, I'm actually totally okay with. I actually think that's perfect. 2-up, 4-up, 5-up is that should be the best defensive profile because it means you can still slam, you You're still rewarded for clever play, but they're not gonna fold like a sack of shit. So Mortarion is very strong, but I'm not actually against it. I just don't want to face him every game, basically. I'll just respect the Death Guard player that doesn't bring him. The thing what is big, though, the new meta, the new Death Guard meta here is the Death Shroud Terminators. I have absolutely no idea why Games Workshop decreased the points of Death Shroud. They were already, by far, the best Terminators for Death Guard, and arguably the second best Terminators in the game behind Deathwing Knights. Okay? Death Shroud plus the Sorcerer was already a very unkillable... was already fairly unkillable. Now it's just even cheaper. I mean, I don't know how much cheaper they've gotten, but no points decrease was needed. That's the big thing. They were already good. They didn't need a points decrease. I think this is a mistake. I think the intern at Games Workshop was meant to decrease the points of Blightlord Terminators and misread the note. Because there's no reasoning on God's green earth that Death Shrouds went down and Blightlord stayed the same way. There's literally no logical explanation for that other than human error. It's not a big decrease. Stake said it's like a 10-point decrease. It's not a big decrease, but there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Yeah, I think I would not be surprised if you saw... I would not be surprised if you saw 18 Death Shrouds with 3 Sorcerers in Terminator armor. I mean, that's not even that expensive. That's 305 points for each iteration. That's only 915 points. That's only 915 points, and that is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah. So Death Guard have been buffed. Strong. Okay, enough of this buffing shit. Let's wallow in some fucking another faction's pain. Drukhari got diddled. I mean, Drukhari, even for Drukhari, this is the kind of hate fucking that that no one enjoys. Yeah. That's kind of big rip. I mean, everything good. Incubi, diddled. Bazaar, diddled. Archon, Beastmaster, caught the Archon, all that. Lilith, all that, diddled. Yeah. I think Incubi are the main... Incubi and Lilith are the main... all of it. There's no... Incubi plus the shit that join Incubi has all gone up. And that's a huge nerf for Drukhari. Mad Larkin! They had it coming as a bottom-performing faction! Oh, that is some rich, rich beef, Mad Larkin. That's hilarious. Yeah, why did GW just nerf... why did GW just nerf one of the bottom 8 factions? I don't get it. I don't get it. Crazy. Crazy. But don't worry, Dark Elder fans. That Hellion buff will sort you out. It might do. I don't know. I'm taking the piss a little bit, but I don't know enough about it. Probably won't. Yeah, Dark Elder, that's a big nerf. I don't think we'll see them completely dead, but yeah, they're not going to be... They're going to... That's a big nerf. Because it's not like 1 or 2 units. It's like, you know, all of these units going up. It's probably cumulatively... It's probably cumulatively 100-point increase overall. So they probably can pivot. It's important not to exaggerate. You know, it's probably like 10 or 20 points on each one of these things, right? I'm guessing. I don't know the points, but I'm guessing. But I'm guessing it's about a 100-point increase, which means they're going to have to lose 1 unit or something. Yeah. or they'll just completely pivot to something else. But I think they could. I think they could probably adapt the current things they were taking. But a bit like with Sisters, what I suspect is going to happen with Dark Elder is they're going to go all around the houses, try all sorts of different shit, and then end up at the same conclusion and just basically swallow the points increase with one less unit. Yeah. Genes of the cults. So this is very interesting. Like, this is actually interesting. Okay. So Genes of the Cults had a lot of points decreases. Some of them quite significant. The fact that Neophyte hybrids now are the same points cost as Guardsmen. Damn it. That's actually really significant, and I think that's a bit of a big indicator. What we have so bear in mind, and I might be wrong here. So correct me if I'm wrong here, chat. But bear in mind, I do believe that Neophyte hybrids at the beginning of 10th edition were 180 points for 20. And now they're down to 130 points. This is basically Games Workshop acknowledging that the whole on a 5+ you get them back isn't reliable enough. And essentially, we've got to the point now where Genes of the Cult aren't paying a shadow tax or the chance their units come back. If I were a betting man, I would say that they're going to get rid of the respawn mechanic. A lot of these points increases to me feel like a hint to the whole, you just pay for your unit and we're going to fundamentally rewrite Cult Ambush. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But yeah, that's what it feels like. Mayonnaise 88, wasn't there a change to how they return to? Maybe. I haven't seen it. Shall we have a look? Where would it be? Would it be on the GSC? I don't think anything's changed here. The same place I mentioned, OG Spaceman changes. Okay, so they've not changed it yet, Mayo Nation. They've not changed it yet, but they're looking at it. So yeah, I think this is them laying the groundwork. I think they're gonna rewrite it. I think Cult Ambush is gonna be goners, and they're gonna replace it with something else, and they're basically gonna, because okay, so if I may just throw my hat in the ring here for how I think you make Genes to the Cult work. The time that Genes to the Cult has ever felt the best, as someone who used them a lot and who played against them a lot, was they were a very fragile, but very, very fragile, fairly cheap Horde army. So it was like a combination of Imperial Guard and Dark Elder. All right, you were quite hoardy, but you were very fragile. And what the GSC essentially did is you had to survive 3 turns. Really, like survive 2 turns. If you could survive 2 or 3 turns, and then basically over the course of turn 4, turn 5, you would just completely crush them. But if they managed to swamp you and do significant damage to you over those first 3 turns, then they got you. And it felt like a real ambush. If the ambush got you, you were fucked. But if you managed to survive the ambush, then when you fought back, they just completely collapsed. And that's when I felt Genes to the Cult were at their best. When there was a very clear way of being able to handle them. You just had to hold. You had to hold your nerve, hold your line, build a bit of redundancy into your list, and you could handle them. And Genes to the Cult players, as someone who played them when they were like that, that was fine. And yeah, sometimes it meant that sometimes GSC never won a tournament, but they always won games and they always did okay and they were fun to use and they were viable. And you had a good plan, you know, you had your plan a generation in the making, and if you managed to pull it off, then it was great. It was like traditional Dark Elder with lots of deep striking, you know, very, very fragile, very, very fast, but couldn't stand up in a big fight. That's where I think they need to go back to. I think they need to go back to having, they need to be really cheap. They need to be able to, they need to be able to throw waves at you for the first 3 turns. But, you know, every single wave that comes in should almost have 100% expected casualty rate. And if they do that, then I think GSC will feel really good. Yeah, I think they'll feel really good. I think it'll be like, if you can basically clear each wave, then you should be able to get the points back. You should be able to claw the points back turn 4, turn 5. That's how they should be. And my prediction with this is you're basically seeing units now costed as if they didn't come back. So I predict they're going to have units which don't come back anymore, and they're just going to make them fundamentally cheap and fragile, which is how it should be. Because they were never like, they had like some very punchy shit, but they were never, it was never the 1 punch that got you. It was the 1 punch, the 2 punch, the 3 punch. And that's what got you with G. That's how they beat you. 1, 2, 3 punch. Because they got 3 arms, right? So 1, 2, 3 punch. Very nice. Nothing major here. Terminator's gone down a bit. That's good. Paladin gone down a bit for 5. Yeah, fine. They basically made the small Terminator squads cheaper, which actually does make sense because the big bricks were a bit of a problem. Some people didn't think the big bricks were a problem, but the problem was that the big bricks were viable for Cull the Horde, but you could never really get it. So this kind of encourages you to take smaller units, which then stops them jibbing and diddling Cull the Horde. Purgation squads getting cheaper seems interesting. I don't think I've ever faced a Purgation squad. I face Purifiers all the time. Is Purgation squad the Strike Marines which get the heavy weapons? If they're cheaper, I'm not surprised because no one fucking runs them. I think Strike Marines are... yeah. The same as Strike Squads now. I guess you choose between guns and swords now. Fair enough. Yeah, nothing major. No major change to the Grey Knights. A light touch. I would have preferred Grey Knights got a big rework because they are... Grey Knights are my least favourite faction to play right now. Because of just how uninteractive they are. But I suspect that basically the Codex is going to fix them. I would like it if we didn't have to wait that long. But it's... Grey Knights, data sheets aren't the problem. They are the problem because the Grey Knights are kind of forced to play cagey because their data sheets can't really stand up in a fight. But it's the army rule that it makes them very frustrating to play against. And also, Sigil of Exigence should just die and go away and never come back. Imperial Agents. No major changes. They've just brought the Subductor up, so it's a bit cheaper. A bit more expensive, sorry. I think they just forgot to fix that, basically. I guess the big thing that jumps out to me with Sisters of Battle is... they're now cheaper in an agent's army, and the Immolator is significantly cheaper in an agent's army. Although that makes total sense because you don't get miracle dice. But ironically, what I'm saying here is if you want to collect Sisters of Battle and you want cheap units, you should collect Imperial Agents. I'm not saying it's a better army. No, you'll lose every fucking game. But it would be a cheaper army. Not money-wise, though. Oh, there we go. Yeah, nothing much to say about agents. No major changes. Imperial Knights. Canis Rex went up. Boo. Boo earns. Boo earns. I mean, he was too good. He was... no returning to Caro. Trash update. I love it. I love it. Kai was good. I love it. Canis Rex going up makes absolutely sense, perfect sense. He was basically an auto-include for a lot of armies. All the other knights going down, I mean, it's basically in line with what we said about the Chaos Knights, right? You can now take 5 knights in your army. That's a lot of knights. That's a lot of knights. I feel like the Imperial Knight. I feel like Chaos Knights have done better than. I feel like Chaos Knights have done better than Imperial Knights because the Chaos Knights can spam their War Dogs much more effectively, and Medium Knights are still probably goosed, but at least now you can get 5 of them. Maybe we'll see the return of the Medium Knight. Okay, we've got a couple of super chats coming in here. I want to say, firstly, a big thank you to Captain Krakenash. Thank you for the 10 bits, man. Do you realize Mortar ignores his own bracketing rules? Yes. It is bullshit. Why have him bracket if he just ignores it? Peak rules right in there. There you are. And then we've got Emil Davy. Thank you for the super chat, man. Don't care. Still up by Mortarion. Screw Primarchs. I feel that, Emil. I feel that. I have a giant Death Guard army. I literally have 170 Plague Marines, all of the Land Raiders, all the tank, everything. And I will never, ever, ever include a Primarch because Primarchs are just boring. Nah, Primarchs are boring. Who gives a fuck, man? Primarchs are boring, man. Yeah. But I've never had an interest in Hero Hammer. Yeah. I always like the little guys, and that's why I collect Guard. I like to write stories for my own characters, not live in someone else's fucking story. I want to say next a big thank you to Ork Boy Phil. Thank you for becoming a channel member, my man. Thank you for becoming a channel member, sir. Thank you for your support. Thank you for doing your part. Amazing, man. Amazing. Another Black Orc, baby. There we go. Also, I want to say a big thank you to Tiki, my boy. Banzai. Banzai! Thank you for the gift of membership, Tiki. Thank you for the Bamboo Spear Fighter. Thank you for doing your part. Mad Larkin. What about Strachan? Here's the hero we need. So, I like Strachan, but he's not a Primarch. And in many ways, I do understand what you're saying there. Strachan is cool. Strachan is cool, but it wasn't just Strachan, it was the fact that we had a combat character. If we had the ability to build Strachan in our new codex and he wasn't called Strachan, but no, Strachan is cool. Maybe it's a good point, Mad Larkin. I don't know. Is it me? Okay, chat, decide. Am I being a hypocrite, or is it different when it comes to Strachan because he's not a Primarch? Maybe I'm just Prime Cyst. Maybe I'm just Prime Cyst, guys. I just don't like Primarchs. There you are. You guys can decide. I don't like Primarchs, but I do like Strachan. Am I a hypocrite? Or is there something different there? Leagues of Votann. I don't really... Okay, so Leagues of Votann, I'm a bit confused. I don't really understand... no, it's okay. So the usual way of taking... Actually, no, I'm flopping and flipping here, but... I don't like the change to Votann. Hearthguard were already one of their best units. Yes, people were often taking them in 10-man squads and deep striking them and just buggering people with them. But I actually had seen a whole bunch of Votann players jump on to putting 5 inside a Hecaton land fortress. So I think GW might I think this actually shows a little bit of a blind spot from the balance team. Because people were already moving away from the tent and were already moving to the Hecaton Hearthguard combo. So, yeah, I don't think that's a good choice. The Jaegers, I've never seen anyone run them, but them going up in points, fine. Nothing much to say about Votann, to be honest. Not a real faction. Should be part of the Tau. Necrons. I mean. There's a lot of stuff here I agree with. I think the Destroyers going up makes a lot of sense. I think the Monolith going up is hilarious because of one guy managing to win an event with it. I think the Tesseract Vault going up does make sense. As someone who's played against it a number of times, it does make sense. Somewhat surprised that the death marks went up, although I guess they are quite... do death marks do a 3-inch deep strike? Yeah, maybe. The Catacomb Command Barge going down, never saw anyone running it. The Annihilation Barge, never saw anyone running it. Doomsday Arc going down. That's a weird one. Why has the Doomsday Arc gone down? It was already a huge problem in Hypercrypt. Yeah, that's a bad call, Ripley. That's a bad call. Obelisk going down, never saw anyone run it. Praetorian's going down, never saw anyone run it. Triarch Stalker going down. That's a weird one. Isn't the Triarch Stalker... Oh no, the Triarch Stalker's the one with like the metal guns. So yeah, Doomsday Arc going down is a bit of a weird one, that's for sure. The rest of it makes sense. Overall, Necron's definitely got away with it. The problem, and to be fair, the problem I have with Necrons has nothing to do with the units. I actually don't think any Necron units were overly cooked. You know, some were maybe a little bit powerful, fine. My problem with Necrons is Hypercrypt. I just don't want to play Hypercrypt anymore. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but if they just took Hypercrypt and just threw it away and put it in fucking not Trajan, whatever it's called, put it in a Pokeball. What's it called? It's not Imatech. Whoever the Necron guy is that collects things. Basically, if they just took the Hypercrypt and just Stalin-like photoshopped it out of existence, I'd just be happy, just because then I wouldn't have to play it anymore. Captain Krakenash, thank you to 10 bits, man. My hot takes and stream discussion. Alright, well, let's take a look then. Only the hottest of takes, man. 2 takes on points updates. Leagues of voted are fine. They lowered the price of 5.5 cards to encourage more MSU, which was a complaint. Jaegers went up a skosh, bring them in line with Aquila as far as price goes. Nothing else to talk about, voting are good. Necrons are Obsidian's Phalanx seems to be the target for the buff. They added Noble to keywording. The Silent King is finally a Triarch. Who the hell is running an attachment that allows you to pick a single unit to get +1 to wound per battle round? Yeah, no one. Annihilation Barge still trash. Command Barge is slightly interesting. You can give one a fort field and a pain on top of their 4 invulnerable save in Awakened, so a single pseudo dreadnought. I like that. Doomsday getting a point roll back is okay. You might think that. I think it should have stayed where it was. Obelisk coming down 25 points, still trash. Praetorian's coming down 20 points, but still quite pricey at 100 points for a jump pack unit that can't be led. That's the big issue. There's no leaders for him. Stalker coming down 15 points is the right decision, but it's still a T8 hull. Yeah. They did punish some MSU units. Solo Lock Destroyers went up 5 for taking them in singles. Deathmark's got a tax of 5. Fuck off. They got one job. Pop in, score, die. Locker's Heavy's got a 5 point per model tax. Still just outstanding units in any of our attachments. Tesla Vault and Moth both got 25 points. Punching players who do things like saying, fuck it, let's pretend we're knights. And no one understands why Warriors got ignored. All in all, it feels like smart players will be fine. It's going to make things a little bit more chess. Like chess for those who want to stay above a 50-50 win rate. Fair enough. That makes sense to me. Yeah, Warriors, yeah. I still think Warriors should be a bit cheaper. When the 10 points a model, I just feel like GW is morally against making them less than 10 points a model. Yeah, I agree with that. The monolith, I mean, overall, it's no... So individually, these points aren't that huge. It's like 5 points there, 10 points there. I guess the big thing is that these points increases come on top of quite a few other points increases in the past. So Necrons are probably probably starting to feel quite elite. And maybe this time you just lose like lose a few, take a smaller unit somewhere, or you lose one model, you lose like one destroyer kind of thing. But you've already gone down from taking 4 Catan. You've already gone down from taking 100 warriors. You've already gone down. You see what I mean? Like there's been a lot of trims of Necrons to the point where now they're quite a small army. Obsidian's Phalanx, I've never seen anyone run it ever, which is hilarious. I don't know why you try and buff that thing. It seems awful. Yeah, don't just write it off. GW, just write it off. Obsidian's Phalanx isn't what needs fixing here. It's Hypercrypt needs fixing to make everything else more interesting. And then we get to the Orks. I mean, the Orks have just made out like bandits, man. All of the core stuff has gone down. So, or battle line. So, Beast Stagger boys down. Boys down. Boys at 160 points for 20 is wildly interesting. Wildly interesting. I mean, how much is a pain boy now? 80? 240 points for 20 boys. Is it a 5-up feel no pain from the pain boy or 6-up? Either way, you run them in green tide. That's like... Is that 5-up, 5-up? That's pretty durable. That's pretty durable. I think a lot of people... I think the big winners, though, in truth, are probably... it's a 5-up. Wow. Yeah, I take 240 points for 25-up, 5-up, toughness 5. That's a lot of tough bodies. I think you could see a lot of orc armies just putting 3 units of boys in. 3 units of boys and just being like, orcs, 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 and sort of just... You know, they sort of just like... even just one unit... Even one unit, just like throwing forward distraction kind of effects. I could see it. I could see it. But I think the big winners here are the Mega Knobs. I think Bully Boys is definitely back. They're a lot cheaper now. 6 Terminator equivalents for 210 points seems very, very good. Yeah. Seems very, very good. And the Kill Rig. The Kill Rig and Hunter Rig being like... What's that? Is the Hunter Rig... A Hunter Rig being 135 points is scary, man. And the Kill Rig being... 155. Wow. That's so cheap. That's so cheap, man. I tell you what's actually stood out to me as a bit stupid. Look at this. Mega Knobs, 6 Mega Knobs for 210 points. Or 6 Killer Cans for 250 points. I don't know about you guys. But even if Killer Cans were 210 points, I still think I'd take 6 Mega Knobs every fucking day of the week. Is it me or are Killer Cans just too expensive now? I don't know enough about them, but it feels too expensive. Or why not both? Yeah, 6 Bulgrin for 220 points. Exactly, Mad Larkin. What would I rather have? 6 Bulgrin or 6 Mega Knobs? Literally 6 Mega Knobs every single day of the week. Not even a question. Not even a question. Commandos being 120 is interesting. Good for infiltrating. Gorkanauts being that cheap feels interesting. Feels interesting because of them basically being knights, like a 265 point knight. That's wild. Tank busters are good, but they don't hit very much. I tell you what, someone pointed out to me though, which I think is being a bit overlooked at the moment. Fucking Deathcopters, man. Fucking Deathcopters. 180 points. That's quite good. I think the Deathcopter spam meme is real. Yeah. I think Deathcopter spam meme is real. 100%. More than I hate to say it, but Bulgur win that fight. I'm not sure Bulgur do win a fight versus Mega Knobs, man. I don't know, but not in Bully Boys when they've got a feel when they've got a feel no pain. I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think the big thing, the reason why Mega Knobs would win that fight is because Mega Knobs will have a leader with them. And that's what swing it. Yeah. I think Orks are back. I think Orks are really, really, really back. I don't believe you, Mad Larkin. You're just lying. You might not be lying, but I'm just going to presume that you are lying because that sounds like a ridiculous statement. That's a ridiculous statement, Mad Larkin. Absolute lies. Utter lies and slander. No one took down Bully Boys at full power before the nerfs unless you were playing an absolute remedial. Because Bully Boys before the nerfs had a 70% win rate. And they had huge player numbers. So there wasn't even... that's including all of... That's a 70% win rate with all of the remedials jumping on the bandwagon, bringing the win rate down, and with the mirror match involved. Soz, absolute lies. Absolute lies, man. Mad Larkin was a 30%. Mad Larkin was a 30%, man. Oh, Tails gives it back. So what you're saying is your incredibly niche skew build was better than this, was able to beat The Take All Comers Bully Boys, run by a child. Turns out that Mad Larkin was the one fighting the children OAPs this whole time. Dude, you can't take a skew build and compare it to a Take All Comers build. It's not how it works. Lies and slander. Lies and slander. Lies and slander. Lies and slander. I'm gonna keep saying it. It was an intro game. We had 2 Meganovs. 2 whole Meganovs. And Mad Larkin said, I beat Bully Boys. It was little Jimmy. It was little Jimmy with a star collecting set. Mad Larkin had convinced him that was the equivalent of 2,000 points. That's what really happened here. That's what really happened. That's what really happened. There you go. It was the bully versus the bully boys. Ah! Oh, Mad Larkin, the more you protest, the guiltier you look, sir. The guiltier you look. Oh, no, you can't start that, Mad Larkin. Don't resort to insults, sir. No, that's not that. No, I can resort to insults because I'm in command here. But you're Mad Larkin. You have lost. You have lost. He who loses the chat. He who loses his honor loses the chat's friendship. Because you, sir, are now full-blown Guvesa. You, sir, I did not introduce a Tau emoji to the channel. I did not immortalize Tau on this extremely anti-Tau channel. I didn't do that. You did it. It is no longer. You are the one who's gone full-blown Guvesa. You're the one that you have turned from the light of the Emperor. The tolerant children under their lives, sir. Exactly. Mad Larkin, how many members did they throw to get him back in? Yes, and then you took that goodwill, and you took that effort, and you tainted it, and you bastardized it, and you crucified it by taking that after you were issued emergency powers. After the chat usurped me. You then used your power. Did you use your power for good? Did you use your power to introduce did you use your power to introduce an Ogren emoji? Because you love your Ogrens and your tater skins so much. Did you use your power to troll me? No, you did not. You used your power for evil. You used his power for evil. And you tainted this channel forever with Tau. A man who loses his honor loses the chat's friendship. I'm only busting your balls, by the way, Mad Larkin. I actually do love the new emoji. It's Face of Glory, baby. Oh, man. Mordian, you forced... Come on, Mad Larkin. Don't be lying. I believe you when you said you beat Bully Boys. I believe you. I do not believe you when you say I forced Guvesa upon you. Come on now. Come on, buddy. Come on. Don't go from telling truth to telling lies. There we are. So a lot of people are feeling really down on Space Marines at the moment. Because they got some nerfs. The Apothecary Biologist went up. Assault Intercessors in 5-man squads went up quite significantly. Well, 10 points, I suppose. Not that bad, actually. Eradicator squads went up. Heavy Intercessor squads went down, though. Vanguard Veterans went up, but they're being punished for Blood Angels, which aren't even going to take them anymore. Some stuff went down. The Ballista's Dreadnought went down. 130 points of the Ballistas is quite nice now. It's got the twin. Is it like the 2-shot las cannon and the 2-shot missile launcher? It's 130 points for an armored body and one that is very easily accessible. You got to think about the impact that's going to have on a lot of players who started with 10th edition. Captain and Phobos armor, that's just gone down because of Space Marine 2. They're trying to capitalize on that. Heavy Intercessor squad going down. We'll circle around to that one. Invader ATV, I don't care how cheap you make it GW, I'm never going to take it. I don't care. It looks like ass. Invicta Tactical Warsuit going down. Again, another pseudo Dreadnought. Very, very cheap. 3 Ballistas, 3 Invictas. Comes to like 750 points. Reavers are cheap. So Reavers are now, I never thought I'd see the day, but Reavers are now like Firstborn points cost. I mean, how much is a tactical squad? Almost, yeah. So Reavers are very, very cheap now. People still say you won't take them, but 5-man Reaver squads, I feel like, don't 5-man Reaver squads have like Deep Strike or something? I'm sure the grapples make them Deep Strike or something. If Reavers have got Deep Strike, then 75 points for that is quite a good deep striking secondary unit. I don't know why people are shitting on Reavers. If I was a Space Marine player, I'd put 5 in every single army. Unless there's a better option. Maybe Scout squads do it better, but I don't think Scouts deep strike. Suppressors, maybe. Suppressors maybe have a smaller footprint. But I can't really see, going through here, Scouts don't deep strike. Truthfully, I can't really see a deep striking unit which can do the same thing. Like, maybe, does the Lieutenant in Reaver armor also deep strike? Maybe you would just take the Lieutenant in Reaver armor, because one model can do it as well as 5 and still do the action and could deep strike into a smaller area. If the Lieutenant can do it. I'm not sure. I don't know 100% if he can. Like, I genuinely don't. But other than that, I'm not really seeing anything that's jumping out at me as a good deep striker secondary go-getter. So a lot of people, so the Reaver Lieutenant cannot deep strike. Okay, so look, I know a lot of people are going to poo-poo this, and a lot of people just like to dunk on Reavers, but in all honesty, I don't see any other unit in the Space Marine Codex right now, apart from maybe Suppressors, who can be such a good cheap secondary game unit. I mean, I was putting just 5 Scions in my armies and just using them for secondaries. And yeah, Reavers can do the same thing now. I mean, yeah, they're paying 25 points more, but that is the nature of playing Space Marines. You can't really get away with that. Yeah, exactly. Kyver's Kane. I feel like Reavers are the Commissars of the Marines. They're not as good as Min Scions, but they do the job for cheap. Yeah, exactly. Can the Phobos Lieutenant do it? If the Phobos Lieutenant can do it, can deep strike, then you could use him for it. He'd be a bit cheaper. But either way, like, they're not. I don't think they should be dunked on quite as badly as everyone is dunking on them. I think people are looking at them as like a shock assault unit, which is kind of the lore of them. But the reality is that they've never really been that, because they're armed with pistols and fucking swords. They're armed with pistols and knives, guys. How realistically, how good at combat do you think they were going to be? Put 5 of them in your list, deep strike them down, do a secondary. Now, elsewhere, Suppressors have got cheaper, but I don't like them because autocannons are kind of trash without the ability to be adding extra AP on. Terminator Assault Squads and Terminator Squads are a bit cheaper. I mean, you're saving 80 points on Terminators over Deathwing Knights. It's pretty big. Do you know what jumps out to me, though? Truthfully, jumps out to me. And another thing which I think people are really heavily overlooking is this. This seems wild. I think that's 3 points per wound. 3.5 points per wound. Heavy Ancestors have come down in points again and again and again. I think we have now reached the point where putting 60 of them in a list is fucking insane and fucking viable. Because their guns aren't that bad. They've got the heavy bolt rifle, right? So I'll have to remind me what the stats are. But the guns aren't that. The guns are... It's like each guy's got like a pseudo heavy bolter, if memory serves correctly. 3 wounds a pop. T6. So it's 3 wounds, T6, 3 up save, heavy bolter per guy. Roughly, you know, give or take a bit. Even if you don't take 60 of... I mean, I think you could. I think you could. The only reason you wouldn't do that is anti-tank. What would you take for your anti-tank? Is 3 ballistas and 3 predators the wrong answer? I don't know. It doesn't seem that wrong. Doesn't seem that wrong at all. I'm mad. That's like 800 points. you'd probably have to trim it down a little bit. You'd probably have to trim it down a bit, like take 5 and then have 50, you know, take 5 squads of heavy intercessors, take 5 of the fire support things, throw a few characters in there. That's a very, very interesting army. I'm not saying it's powerful, but it's interesting. So yeah, Space Marines, a lot of people are just looking at the red and they're not looking at the green. And my instinct right now is there's a few hidden gems in here. There's a few hidden gems. Our Space Marines, the biggest problem facing Space Marines is in my opinion, is brain drain. Everyone's running basically Space Marines, but as Dark Angels. Maybe we'll see a change up to that soon. Space Wolves! Oh dear. Deary me. So the Wolf Cavalry has basically been taken round back and shot like Old Yeller. Apparently Space Wolves have been nerfed so hard that people are saying that they're seeing Space Wolf armies. They're seeing Space Wolf armies on fucking eBay and like Facebook groups and everything. 20 points per 3, so 40 points per unit, so 120 points overall. But the long story short, Space Wolves have been nerfed. Space Wolves have been nerfed. Arthur Martin, apparently a power gamer in the local store I frequent, just put up a Space Army on the Game Store's Discord server. Everyone's saying it's about the Wolfen now. I thought Wolfen were utter dog shit. I thought Wolfen were utter dog shit. Longfang's down 30 points. That is quite cheap. Yeah, maybe 18 Longfangs is the way to go. All right, next we've got a super chat. But yeah, overall, long story short, with the Space Wolves, is Thunderwolf Cavalry have been absolutely mashed. Everyone seems to be jumping off the Space Wolf hype train. And it looks like people are getting very excited about Longfangs and Wolfen. We'll get to these bastards. We'll get to Mad Larkin's favourite faction in a moment. I want to say a big thank you to Peter Butchins. Peter Butchins, thank you so much for the Giga Chat. Unpopular opinion, I always hated the design of the attack bike, and I like the ATV. That being said, I'd kill for a Deathkiller Wartrike-like model. ZZ Top style. So I never liked the look of the attack bike either. I'll be with you there. I thought the attack bike looked goofy, but I thought the land speeder looked good. So attack bike, but to be honest, I think the attack bike and the ATV both look equally goofy. I think that the classic land speeder didn't need to be replaced. Yeah, but that's like my opinion. But yeah, Peter Butchins. Yeah, the attack bike was goofy, like motorcycle and sidecar. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bit goofy. But the ATV's no better, man. The ATV's no better. It's fucking Mario Kart. But hey, yeah, we've all got our own preferences, right? Yeah, sidecar was ridiculous. Yeah, they should have just what they should have done is not had either. And then just keep making the land speeder, but make the land speeder go in the attack. Give the land speeder like attack bike profile, and put it in the unit. That's what they do with the old Space Marine land speeders. But yeah, there we are. All right, we've got Captain Krakadash. Captain Krakadash, thank you for the 20 bits, man. Speaking of Monolith, I was working on the conversion last night. Oh, mine. Mind you, when I got this, it was just a shell. None of the bits or crystal. It's interesting discussion. Also, Wolfen have no OC but disgusting in melee, if I recall correctly. And the Wolfen Dreads are genuinely terrifying. Yes, Wolfen Dreads are very good. Yeah. Tau diddly tau tau tau. Farsight down. I'm just morally against Farsight because of Farsight bomb in 5th edition. Kroot Carnivores. All the Kroot shit's cheaper. Apart from lone Kroot Riders. I think that's good. I think Kroot got absolutely buggered by the last data slate. So Kroot are back. Piranhas have gone up. I guess that's kind of that makes sense because they could spam a lot of Seeker missiles. The Riptide's gone up. Fucking hell! For the first time this edition, the Riptide has gone up in points. I mean, the fact that it ever got as low as it did. I mean, what was it on? How cheap did it get, guys? Wasn't it like 140 points or something insane? Someone will have to remind me, but the fact that the Riptide got as cheap as it did, where it was like the Riptide is cheaper than a Lehman Russ or something insane, was just unforgivable. Just unforgivable, man. Like, it was just ridiculous. So, yeah, Riptide going back up, fucking well deserved. Piranhas going up makes sense because the fact that they get double Seeker Missile is really, really strong. Seeker Missiles are really, really good. So, overall, crew are back. Riptide's been put back in its place, and Piranha's getting changed makes sense. Oh my god. Magnus the red. Magnus, all his units have gone red. It turns out that Magnus did indeed do something wrong. Holy shit, man. Magnus is now 465 points. You can get like... Oh, by the way, Gilliman being 280 points is kind of interesting as well, but there you are. Magnus being 465 points is fucking... I mean, it's probably right. It's probably right. He was the best single model in the entire game. The Thousand Sons are back to their Horus Heresy red scheme. Yeah. Yeah, man. It seems. But I mean, there's so much stuff here. Araman on disc was the big one, right? I think. But yeah, Araman. Oh, well, both actually. I mean, they didn't touch. What did they? Yeah, it's the rubrics as well, man. Because no one was taking 10-man rubric squads. Everyone was taking little 5-man rubric squads. So all. I mean, yeah, no, that's it. That's Thousand Sons. I think that's done. Like seriously, I think that's done. I don't know how they come back from that. Everything that they have been relying on since the start of 10th edition has just gone up. Like, if I look at this, every single unit that last time I faced down some, which was a couple of months ago, every single unit that my opponent used in his list has gone up. Every single one of them. From the sort, they didn't miss a single unit. They got them all. They got them all. Because my opponent's list was, the only thing they didn't change was cultists, to be fair. But my opponent's list was literally like 4 or 5 units of rubrics, couple of vortex beasts, Magnus, 3 sorcerers, and Zango Enlightened. And then like 2 units of cultists. So the only thing they missed was the cultists, man. Like, that list that my opponent used must have gone up by 200 points. Easy. Easy peasy. I think Thousands are fully cooked now. I have no idea what they're going to pivot to. I mean, eat everything, man. Exalted Sorcerers, Dancing Sorcerers, goddamn Forge Fiends, everything. And they didn't get any incentive to go for anything else. There's not like, oh, well, they got like cheaper Zangors, so they can pivot to that now. Nope. Both Grimdark Future. Both. They're cooked and cooked. I don't know. I don't know what they pivot to now. I tell you exactly where Thousand Sons are going. On the shelf. Tyranids. I am very happy to see Von Ryan Leapers go down because I now have 12 of them. I am very happy to see Winged Hive Tyrants go down because they were massively overcosted. And I'm very happy to see the Classic Carnifex go down because I fucking love Classic Carnifexes. How much is the Screamer Killer? That's a little bit more. Lictor going up makes sense because people were taking quite a lot of them. Old One Eye going up makes sense. Lone Pyrevores going up makes sense as well. Nothing major in the Tyranid to the changes. I guess the big thing is what didn't change. The fact that the Tyrannofex didn't change and the Exocrine didn't change is pretty wild. It's not in this change. Whether it's up or down, none of the changes here matter. It's the fact they didn't change those 2 units. The fact that they didn't get the Exocrine is very, very spicy. But yeah, fuck it, man. Tyranids. The thing is, you can't nerf everything that's good because you still need to give. It's okay for some units to be good. You know, factions need some good units. So Yeah, I think they'll get extra queens next time, but I think people are going to get to use them another 3 months, and then maybe they'll go down. Maybe they'll go up 10, 20 points each. Yeah, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed them. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't change them. Yeah, exactly. Make a chance didn't change, and neither did Dawn. Yeah, there you go. World Eaters, last faction here, guys. Oh, dearie me. Angron is very, very expensive. He's very, very, very expensive. So, Angron going up makes sense purely from the fact that he is an auto-include model. And I, for one, will be glad to see the back of him if people do stop taking him. But that's not because I think Angron was overpowered. I don't like the fact... it's like with, we said before, I don't care about Mortarian's power level. I care about the fact that he's going to be an auto-include. I care... The problem with the Lion is that not only is his power level fucking ridiculous, but also... He's also too cheap. With Angron, it's not that I found him overpowered. I've killed him many times. I've even had him come back. But the problem is that the problem I had with him was he was an auto-include. The thing is, as Nostalgia Vivica said, he was an auto-include because he was kind of the only anti-tank they really had. Which I know sounds crazy, but a lot of the other stuff that they had would struggle into like heavy armor or mech spam. Like sure, 8-bound will tear through a Chimera, but they won't tear through a lot of other other bigger stuff if you get a good round of saves off, right? Bit of armor contempt here, bit of a -1 damage there, bit of a 4-up save here. And any one of those things could make 8-bound start bouncing off tanks. I've had 8-bound go into Demon Russes and bounce off just because they're wounding on 5s most of the time, right? So yeah, Angron was one of the few models here that could go in and just go fuck off. Like, I am actually going to kill your tank. So I think the problem is that even they could almost make him. They can almost make him 600 points. And I still think people would take... I still think World Eater players would still be forced to take him. But I think at that point, World Eaters are joining the Thousand Suns on the shelf. Now, do I think World Eaters are on the shelf right now? No. I think basically World Eater lists are going to be exactly the same as they were. They might drop 1 unit of Berserkers or 1 unit of Jackals. But yeah, they're just going to have slightly less assets to play with. I would love it if World Eaters pivoted to something a bit different. I'd love to see Corn Berserkers and Rhinos. I'd love to see... I mean, Forge Fiends are Forge Fiends at the end of the day, and they get... I think World Eaters get the cheapest Forge Fiends now. But I think, unfortunately, for all of us, we're just going to basically see the same list with, 1 less squad in it. I mean, Demon Prison Wings looks nice. Double Demon Prince? I guess that's the biggie. Do you take Angron or do you take double Demon Prince now? Interesting. We'll see. The Demon Prince of Wings is a lot cheaper now. It's a lot cheaper. I'm guessing he's less durable because why would the one with wings be cheaper than the regular one? Unless the regular one's a lot more durable, but yeah. It's 20 points more than Angron? Yeah. Or maybe you go Angron 1 Demon Prince of Wings and that kind of balances it out. Yeah. I think we'll see. Maybe we'll see a little... Maybe we'll see a bit of variety in World Eaters. I'd like to see a bit of variety. World Eater players, if you're ever watching this, I don't begrudge you taking Angron, but I applaud the guy that doesn't. That's the way I see it. Just for note, this just feedback from someone who plays against you. Angron being in every game, it's like Necron Hypercrypt, it's like we said with Mortarian. It's fine, it's just, we're not complaining about how powerful he is, we're just complaining about it being a bit samey. There you are. Alright, and that just about covers it. Overall, I think we're in for a very different meta. I think the time of the Thousand Suns and the Dark Elder and the Space Wolves dominating the top of the meta has gone. I think Guard are now in a strong position. I think Tau are now in a strong position. I think Tyranids are now in a strong position. I think Orks are now in a strong position. Necrons are still decent. Votan are still decent. Knights, I do worry there could be a bit of Knight spam. Grey Knights are annoying as hell, but yeah. I think some stuff has stayed the same, but I think the top 3 faction, top 3 to 8. I think the top 8 is going to look very different going forward, with maybe even Eldar making a triumphant return. That's my take on the meta. The bottom hasn't changed all that much. Maybe a few new additions down there, but it's the top. The top has changed. New meta for sure. For sure. All right. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.